Welcome to the Rustic Garden. Today's April 28th, and this is my late April update to the garden. All these plants are plants that I mostly started indoors. Some of them I grew in the greenhouse that you see right there over the winter, so they were all taken out. All the peas I started in pea pots. They're doing really well. I'll be doing videos on those over the next weeks and showing you how I trellis them. These are tomatoes I started indoors. They're going to be ready to go out into the garden soon. The peppers that have been in videos, that have been pruned back, everything is really healthy. Our nights are still getting into the 40s. Last week the nights got into the 30s, so a lot of the stuff was protected in the greenhouse that I just showed you. I have a lot of greens that are starting to flower. I'm going to show you my asparagus bed shortly, and also I'm going to cut off and show you all the stuff that I collect for dinner today. I'm going to be eating these flowers, the leafy greens, the asparagus, in a pasta dish that I'm making. I also work in Baltimore City, so this is kind of a nice break because we did have the riots last night and a little bit worried what's going to happen this evening. So, you know, gardening is a way for me to really relax, kind of get away from stress, but in this case, you know, completely appalling what happened there yesterday, and hopefully it doesn't happen tonight. Here are flowers that I've been growing indoors. This is straw flower. These will all get put out into pots. There's blue better sage, chamomile, another kale plant that's supposed to be really purple and really crimson. We'll see how that goes. Second wave of tomatoes that are going. When you come out to the yard, different kale. You can grow kale in a 5-gallon container. That's Swiss chard. This is probably your standard kale. Let's see what I got on there. Collard greens, dwarf curled, black crinkled, and this is I think a Creole collard. They do really well in 5-gallon containers. You can grow them in that all season long, even in the hot summer. Coming over to the beds, this is giant garlic. More garlic coming in there. That needs to be weeded out, but there's also chamomile. Overwintered kale. Lots of stuff going on. All the stuff I started indoors. I've got more peas in the ground. Again, all started indoors. Different kales. Over here, the Kohlrabi is doing really well. 2 varieties, your standard and a giant variety. They're starting to develop their bulbs down at the bottom. Different kinds of lettuces. Things are really taking off. And like I said, I'm going to harvest a lot out of here after this video, and I'm going to go and cook it and make a pasta dish. More garlic. I have more kohlrabi, Brussels sprouts starting. This is kale from last year. All kinds of stuff are really doing well. And now is really the end of the planting for the cool weather crops. In about a week or two, all my warm weather crops will start going out. The peppers, the tomatoes. Like I said, I started my cucumbers in containers. Tomato plants will go in those when the lettuces are done. This is kohlrabi, and you might have seen the flowers. This is the second year, so this was planted really in the beginning of last year. It overwintered. This is going to flower, but I'm also going to be eating these. You can eat the flowers. They're really delicious. Before they bloom, they're kind of like broccoli, and then after they bloom, you can eat the flowers, and if you catch them at the right time, they have a sweet taste to them if you catch the pollen. Coming over here, I started flats of beets that'll be thinned. That is a variety of spinach. I forgot your standard spinach right there. That is a snapdragon. Those are all snapdragons. They're going to go out in my perennial bed. Garlic that I started in another video. Here are my radishes. They're going to get thinned out so that they stand at least 1 inch to 2 inches apart. Spinach, broccoli rabe, all kinds of stuff. Beets. Overwintered kale back there. Here's my asparagus. It's getting a little bit big, but all I do is snap it, and that's going to be dinner tonight. It's going to be a snack right now. More beets, black radishes, onions are in there. That'll all be developed in a little bit, in a couple of weeks. More kohlrabi. My peas. I don't know why I'm stuck on peas. My potatoes are doing really well. Yukon Gold. This is an all blue variety. More peas. More potatoes in the containers. So they're doing really well. They're going to get backfilled. That is lovage. It's a great herb that tastes like celery. Comes back year after year here in Maryland Zone 7. So I have a lot happening. Oh, let me just show you some more radishes, they'll all get thinned out, and then some more asparagus. And again, I'm going to cut from this and show you what I am going to cook tonight. This is what I picked out of the garden to go into the pasta dish tonight. Before I go and talk about it, like I said, I work in Baltimore and we had the riots last night, and I did want to say something real quick. The people that decided to loot and riot and steal were not the protesters. I've been watching this. The protesters were pretty peaceful for several days. The police did a very good job of letting them protest like we have a right here in the United States. The riots started about 4 o'clock yesterday using media. It was a lot of young adults, high school kids, some of the gangs that are in the city, all decided to basically almost create a flash mob and just go and start looting and destroying their city. While I watched it, there were a lot of people who also live in the city, the protesters, clergy, all kinds of people were really trying to stop that from happening. But the people, and I want to be clear, that rioted last night, they weren't the protesters. These were people who decided to destroy property and decided to try and get things for themselves. Now, as the night progressed, it kind of moved away from the young adults who started it, and then you saw a lot of adults get involved, especially looting the mall in the city, where they were just going right in, grabbing stuff and putting in their car. I personally find it sickening. I hope that they use all the technology that they have, find the people who looted, and, you know, put them in jail or do whatever they can. But I just wanted to be clear. The protesters have a right to protest. I agree with a lot of what they're saying, but this mob that did this destruction last night should be held, you know, to the highest standards of the law. Anyway, thank God for gardening. It does give me a break from, you know, what we have to deal with in life. Garlic from last year, just pulled it out premature. That's going to make a great sauce. Swiss chard, all the asparagus that I could pick, going to be delicious. Kales, mustard greens, cilantro. And one of the great things that I think a lot of people don't use, it's the flowers of the second year greens, arugula, the mustard greens, the kales, kohlrabi. They're delicious. They taste just like the plant, a little bit like broccoli in some cases. And the flowers, if you catch them, just like I said, when they bloom, they have a sweetness to them. But this is all going to be made, cut up and put in an olive oil sauce, go right on top of linguine, and hopefully have a great meal. Please check out my blog at www.therustedgarden.blogspot.com and also check out my YouTube videos. Thanks.